Hello friends, join us for Chapter 5 of Dynamics of Fulfilling Your Mandate, titled The Velocity, brought to you by Teens and Youths for Christ, TYFC. Let's delve into the profound teachings of Brother Gbile Akanni.
Chapter 5, The Velocity. This is the next dynamic onto fulfilling your mandate in life. Velocity is defined ordinarily as the rate of displacement. It is the amount of distance covered within a time space. The velocity of a man's life will be defined as the rate at which he is pushing through his mandate within the time space he has been given. All who would fulfill their calling must walk with time. They must walk in consciousness of the limitedness of their opportunity to serve. None of us is everlasting. Our time is limited and it ticks away by the second of our watch. Time is opportunity to do a thing. While other things are accumulatable and storable, time is not. Time is unidirectional. It goes one way and does not return again. For this dynamic of our mandate to be clear, let us seek the understanding of time and so be able to put our hearts in the path of wisdom. Understanding our time. In seeking to run with a focus on our life's mandate, we must understand our time in these three dimensions. 1. Understand the nature of time. 2. Understand the purpose of our time. 3. Understand the timeliness of time. 1. The nature of time. Ephesians 5:14-18. Therefore he says, "Awake, you who sleep, arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. And do not be drunk with wine, in which is dissipation, but be filled with the Spirit." Time is not accumulatable. Time is not static. It is dynamic. It is on the run. You cannot add time on time. Time cannot be brought forward. Time is not transferable. By nature, time is on the run. If you do not pull it, redeem it, and apply it for use, it will just click off from your hand. Any time not used is time lost. Any time not applied is time wasted. If time must be used at all, it must be redeemed. It must be snatched. The language of time is now or never. I must act now in time, or I will never have this time again. Since time is not accumulatable, not storable, not stoppable, not free, not static, I must grab it to be engaged for what I am called to do in my lifetime. No time is vacant. Each day is filled with its own consignment of evil. I must evacuate it for my own use. Every time is attached to some evil to be achieved by the devil, so I must continuously detach it for my own use. Each time I need to do anything, I must evacuate it of what it is being attached to. I can have enough time for what I want to do with my life if only I evacuate the sufficient time for the tasks. Though time is not expandable, I can dig out of it all the sediments and make it seemingly expanded for my own use. 2. The purposefulness of time. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1-14. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill, and a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. What profit has the worker from that in which he labors? I have seen the God-given task with which the sons of men are to be occupied. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity in their hearts, except that no one can find out the work that God does from the beginning to the end. Everything has its own time, and there is a specific time for every activity under heaven. There is a time to be born and a time to die. There is a time to plant and a time to pull out what was planted. This is very critical for me if I will not waste time. Time must not only be used for something. It is important for me to know what each time of my life is meant for. Each time is a purposeful time. To everything there is a season and time for every purpose under heaven. For my life not to be a waste, the season for a thing must match. I must walk in season for what I must do. When you miss the season of a thing, you jeopardize the other parts of your life. The matter is not achieved and the time is wasted. What you don't do in its season is out of date. It is never really done. It only encumbers the time and occupies it from being applied to what it is meant for. To be said to be a seasoned man is not a description of expertise, but of one who acts in appropriate seasons. Do not be addicted to the things you used to do. If the season for it has passed, it will be a waste of your life. I have got to know my season. Season is a portion of time within which I must accomplish some certain things. I must ask regularly, what season am I? What am I supposed to be doing now? Each season is a segment of my life, and what I do in this season must be preparatory for the next season. As I diligently walk with the Lord, He helps me to bring forth my fruit in its season and accomplish specific things at the specific time frame allocated for such things in my life and calling. Every purpose under heaven has a time allocated and a time attached. It is important for me to walk in time. Christ walked in time and did everything at the appropriate times. He knew when to go somewhere and when to refrain from going. He would say, I will not go to this feast now, for my time to go is not yet. You may go, for your own time is always here. It is amazing to watch my Lord walk with a sense of divine timing. He knew when it was the hour of darkness, and he knew when it was his own day and the hours in the day. He knew what to do and when to do it. He knew what hour to enter the city and meet the right persons with the pitcher of water. He repeatedly reminded his disciples of time and purpose for such a time. He never lingered anywhere beyond the allotted hour. He would not go earlier to see Lazarus than when the greatest miracle was meant to be done to bring the greatest glory to his Father. There is a place to be at a particular time. There is a specific thing to accomplish at that time. There will be no rush in my life if I were so guided from day to day. Be a man of the season who does things as if there may be no other chance. 3. The timeliness of time. A time is only timely if it is applied for what it is meant for. I must do the things to be done at the time allotted to them. I must be at the right place at the right time. The timeliness of time is not in my power to know. I need the mercy of God to make me timely. A time is only timely if it makes me arrive at divine purposes as at when due. Promptness is not just keeping to set times of meetings and programs. It is rather being at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing for the right cause. Untimely time is wasted and misused time. It is rather a disruption of divine programming. It brings conflict and confusion to divine order. It is what we would rather call lateness. When I am timely, everything works perfectly in its own time. He has made everything beautiful in His own time. The beauty of a thing is in its own timeliness. It is not good anymore once its time has expired. Things are obsolete as soon as their proper time expires. It is no longer good for the plan and purpose of God on earth. It actually now encumbers the space and disfigures the symmetry God had intended. I must be timely. What I do must also be timely. Many things may crowd around you for attention, but it is time for only one thing at a time. You must be a man of only that one thing. You must not be divided in between so many things. It will rob you of your consecration. You must leave behind that for which the time has passed and run ahead with what is currently in the present season and timely. The velocity of a man's mandate is in his ability to match his labor with the time allotted for it, and to be able to say, I have finished my race at the time when the time for such work expires. It is not about running or competing with another person. It is being able to achieve all that God meant to do within the time allocated for such work. Christ was a man of velocity. Look at him, declaring the sense of time, timeliness, and the work to be done within such time. But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that ye know not of. Therefore said the disciples to one another, Hath any man brought him aught to eat? Jesus said unto them, My meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work. Say not ye, There are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvests? Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look up to the field, for they are white already to harvest. John chapter 4, 32-35, King James Version. He did not keep to tradition. He moved with time and purpose. Meat was not good enough to occupy the time to minister to the Samaritan woman whose timely moment was then. He would not succumb to sleep when it was time to write a note to someone. He would not say there were yet 4 months and then harvest would come, when he could see the field already white to harvest. He knew that in harvest, the harvest would have fallen to the ground and wasted if the wheat was not harvested. It would be an untimely labor then. Jesus knew that there was a time when no man could walk, no matter how willing and zealous he was. There is a time when power and energy cannot do anything because it is not the time to walk. He knew his own day and his own night. He would not waste his day and be struggling to do something when the night had already fallen for such a work. Men of velocity do not procrastinate. They know that the next time is allocated for something else. Time is now for that thing to be done. If it is not done now, the next time will not be its time. He put himself under must. I must walk the work of him that sent me while it is day. His sense of the night comes sounds so urgent in my ears. He saw the night coming deliberately with its own speed. You cannot stop it from coming. Those who fulfilled their mandate in life were men and women who applied the dynamic of velocity to their labors. May the Lord grant you wisdom to know this and walk with this dynamic in your heart, in Jesus' name. Do not postpone or procrastinate what you can accomplish today to another time. Do not wish for more time when you have only sat down gazing at the enormity of your assignment. Engage the time you have in hand now. Tomorrow may never be yours. Maximize the time you have. The next time is for another purpose. Today is the only time you have. Your yesterday is of no use again. It is spent and cannot be brought back. Jesus knew that there is a time when no man can work, no matter how willing or how zealous he is. Be a man of velocity in the discharge of your mandate.
Concluding Chapter 5, The Velocity, remember that God's divine purpose propels you forward. Keep listening for more wisdom in the chapters that follow.